stay in the, exactly here in the brow. So the entry point and the exit point has a distance of 3 centimeters, no more. When the last cone go in a topic and the rest of the cones go in the temporal area to elevate the brow. Of course, we have to stay in the subcutaneous tissue. If you go deeper, you do not move the brow. So we have to stay superficially. The technique is exactly the same. When I mark, of course you have to mark the patient with the patient standing up. The entry point is the traction point. So according to you, where you put the entry point, you can have, or if you stay very laterally, you have a straight brow. If you stay 1 centimeter inside, more round, or very round here, according to where you decide to put it. She has a little asymmetry, but anyway, very small. And we do the entry point like we know in any area. But what I suggest always, to do the entry point, especially here where we don't have tissue, to pinch the skin, to create a virtual space to avoid to go too deep. And the same thing with the needle. Ideally, we have to maintain the distance of 5 millimeters inside for the black line, but we don't have space here. So we have to, first of all, to go in the entry point. And this is a maneuver that always I suggest, especially in beginners, to do the insertion of the needle in 2 steps. The first thing is to tighten the tissue, to find the entry point, even if you don't see it because it's bleeding, for example, but you feel that they go in because this needle is 23 gauge and the other one is 18, so it's a bigger needle. And you feel that you are in the inside. And I leave the black line outside, then I pinch the skin and insert the black line. I suggest to do this double maneuver even if you are working in other areas. So is always we are going to do in this way, and when we are in a difficult area like temple, brow or neck, we don't have risk to go deeper. And then, here is my exit point. You see that I stay in the fat tissue of the brow, and I arrive to the exit point, that is 3 centimeters. Even here, of course, we have the emergence of the supraorbital nerve, but anyway, it's deeper than this layer. And so it's safer. Anyway, I do not put the exit point immediately to the notch of the supraorbital nerve. We are here now. I have to insert the first 4 cones, and we do in the same way like we do usually. Right here, make resistance or contraction until the last cone is inside, and we don't need more. We will not have to move these cones. And you see that now, being the cone in the subcutaneous tissue, I can elevate the brow wherever you want. It's like to give a stitch here and pull up. So, being this tissue thicker and stiff, of course, I will move the lower part that is softer. This is the reason of the elevation. And once I insert the suture, I do not tie. I do the other side, and then we tie to the patient sitting. And the reason is simple, because we can't see exactly the position of the brow with the patient lay down, and with infiltration. So now I do exactly the same. I stretch the skin. I feel here is my entry point. I pinch the skin and insert on my black line, vertical position. And I see what is my exit point, that is here. Oh, sorry. This here. So, and here, after the first centimeter, we insert the needle, we have to check where is the needle. And the maneuver I suggest is this one. Elevating the tip means that I'm not under the fascia. And being the tip free, I'm not on the dermis. So I'm in a correct depth. If I see any indentation, means that I arrive in the dermis, so I'm too superficial and the cone will not go in. You see? That is correct. And I repeat, what I do is just going low, normally you see that probably you see this vasoconstriction, not very visible, but it's helpful for vasoconstriction and create a numb sensation to create anesthesia in the area because this is very sensitive and as you know we don't have any fat tissue. And the exit point. And another little tip that I suggest, when you remove the needle, never go up because the back of the needle can cut a little vessel. So always in the same direction and very slowly. The cones make resistance, contraction. This is the maneuver I do every time in any suture insert. So, what can go wrong? First of all, that we pinch the artery. And we see immediately because makes a lump immediately. So I go back with the needle, pressing, and wait. Usually, when it stops bleeding, is you can follow, no problem. The problem is pinching the vein because you don't see immediately the hematoma. Usually, you see that at the end of the procedure. So this is the reason because I do not cut the thread. If I see a little tunnel here of blood, we have to fix it in some way, or taping, or making a knot with the forceps, and leave it 1 week. Once done. All the time, I suggest to do botulinum toxin on the periocular area because when I do this procedure, when the botulinum toxin is not enough to elevate the brow, the lateral part of the brow, because the muscle, for example, is very narrow. So I do botulinum toxin and I elevate the tail of the brow in this way. And so that means that the only power on the brow is the contraction of the orbicularis muscle downwards. So it's correct to do botulinum toxin, the ideal thing is 2 weeks before, that reduce the microtrauma of the mimic movement on the fixation. And so after 3 months, when the fibrosis is quite hard, you can easily don't do the botulinum because toxin because it's already fixed. And the same thing, so pinch the skin. Here's a point of traction. Pinch the skin. Just the tip of the needle to create a door. Then I stretch the skin. This is here because we're not bleeding. The tip is inside, the black line outside. So I pinch, I create my virtual space, and then insert the black line. And I go to the exit point, like usual. The first 4 come inside. This is fixed. Now, the same thing. Entry point. Pinch the skin, black line inside, vertical. And let's see where is my position. And we check that we are in the right position. I can elevate the needle, so it means I'm not under the area. And the tip is free, is not pinching the nerves. here in my exit point, and we follow, maintaining the same depth. When we cross, I like this technique because even in thin skin you can do it, because from the entry point to the area where the skin is thicker, we don't have to have cones because we have the free part of the thread. So it's impossible to palpate even in very thin skin. The only problem of the thin skin is that we will have some folding when we tighten. Usually that takes a few days to be settled. And when you arrive to the upper part, sometimes we do not feel the tip. It's good to, if you want to know exactly where is the tip, using the other needle, you know exactly if you are in the exit point or over or before.
Roberto, why do you need to go 10 centimeters for the exit point? Wouldn't 5 or 6 do as it does it with the 8 cone elsewhere?
In the 8 cone suture, the distance between the two entry points,
Yeah.
to the exit points, you say.
Yeah.
The reason is quite important, in my opinion, because what we have to keep in mind is the distance between the last cone and the exit point. You need to have minimum 1.52 centimeters. Otherwise, when you compress, the cone right to the dermis and have to go out. So, to guarantee this distance, you need 10 centimeter minimum with the 8 cone suture and 10 centimeter and 9 centimeter with the 16 or 12 cone suture, just to have this distance between the cone and the exit point. If you do a part of 6 centimeters, you can't tie the tissue because the cones are on the dermis. And so you have to sacrifice the cones, and so it's not useful.
Because we're using the proximal branch just for the cone, so 3 centimeters, this is why you need that extra length than you normally would in the face for 5 to 6 centimeters.
Sorry, I thought we were using the 8 cone here, but we're not actually.
We are
using
using the 8
Are we?
cone, but in the proximal that's in the eyebrow, it's only 3 centimeters, just so that the cones engage. So you have that extra bit of thread between the cones going one direction, the other direction, which is now being incorporated in this length here we need to account for.
Okay, so we finish. Speaking with one colleague, anatomist, he told me, well, it's strange that you do not pinch the frontalis artery because cross exactly this area. But really,